There goes Penny, wherever she is. There she is. She came just down and woke up in a minute. She's probably going to get involved in this, I'm going to guess. Anyway, there she's looking at me over the corner. So I keep pointing in that right direction. So you want to come over here? Come on. You've heard me talk about her. So here she is. Say hi to the group. That's Penny. Look. So let's see what she does here. She stays in my lap. This was not intended, to be totally honest. Anyway, um, as we're looking at things today, and as I'm recording this, and it's December, and people are getting ready for the holidays, and in most cases, I would be willing to bet that at least a few of you are feeling frazzled and stressed and overwhelmed and wanting to do anything but whatever it is you're doing. So I've got a couple of ideas or a couple of thoughts for you to possibly follow and do some things to help get you back on track or settle down and feel a little bit better. So here we go. And the first part of this you could do even if you were driving, though I don't think any of you are actually listening to me in the car since I don't, unless you've got it set up that way. But anyway, the first thing to do is simply just take some deep breaths. Just stop what you're doing, settle down, and take some deep breaths. Inhale slowly. Don't go 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. 1, 2, 3, 4. If you can do it, go up to about 5. Hold your breath for about the same count of 4. Then slowly exhale. Do it 3 times, and if you can do it 5, that's even better. And just sort of let your body relax and feel better. Don't push this. Just let it and go with it. That's all you need to do. Now, if you have gotten to that point, then depending on where you are, then at least acknowledge that you're overwhelmed. Just I'm overwhelmed, I'm tired, I'm stressed, whatever. Just sort of like acknowledge what's going on. So what you're doing is naming the situation instead of just feeling kind of frazzled. Just talk about it for a couple of minutes. You've got 37 things to do and you don't know what's going on or something. Just take a couple of minutes and just name it, get it out. Okay. Now, if you're someplace where you can do this, go get a drink of water, whether it be a water fountain or whether you can get a cup and take a few sips, just take a little bit of water. Okay. Just do this slowly and consciously and acknowledge what you're doing and just that you're taking care of yourself. That you're just not going to be getting involved in that whole run around. Okay. Now, if you've got the ability to do so, stand up and stretch. Just move your arms out, around, move, shake your body a little bit and do things like that. Obviously, if you're in the car, you can't do this, but so I would suggest you get someplace you could. But just move and just shake and just sort of get some of the tension out of the body. If you can, go outside. Now, you may be in it, might be 22 degrees below zero, and I acknowledge that, but at least go outside and take about a 2 minute if you can, depending on the temperature, whether it's blazing, blazing or snow. You don't have blazing snow, but if it's, snowing or anything, and just breathe for about a minute. If that doesn't work, or if it's too cold or the weather's lousy, just come in and take a look at a window and just look outside and just sort of try and feel as if you're outside. Not that you're encased in a room or a building, anything else. Just look at nature if at all possible, or imagine nature. Or if you've got some place that you're close to where there might be a painting or a picture or something like that, just look at that and think about being in nature someplace. If you can't do that, or in addition to that, go someplace and splash water on your face, or put something, if you can get to it, ice on your wrists, possibly cold water if you can't get the ice. Then if you've got a chance to have a preferably healthy snack, if you haven't eaten in 2 or 3 hours, preferably fruit if you can get to it, and just and I mean snack. I'm not saying go overboard and do like half a pie or anything else like that. Just a little intake for some basically healthy food. Okay? You should be starting to feel a little calmer. All of this should take about 5 or so, 7 minutes. Okay? Still with me? Maybe some of you might be doing this without me. I'm talking about it. Now, get a piece of paper and pencil and write down everything you feel you have to do. Just sit down and make a dump. Just write everything down. All the little things, the big things, everything. Some of you might need two or bigger sheets of paper than you started out, but just get everything down. Finish that. That's probably going to be the longest thing you have to do, depending on how you feel or how many things you feel you have to do. Once you're done with that, then go over the list and look at the top 3 things that have to be done today. Then pick one. When I say pick one, think in terms of what you've got. You may have something that you've got to do right now. Then there's something else that you might need to do that's not necessarily important for right now, but you have to do because it's going to be necessary later. It's kind of along the line of if you're going to go fix dinner in a couple of hours, it might be a good idea if you took something frozen out of the freezer. It might be a good idea to do that now. So what you're looking at is doing right now the thing that's actually going to, in a sense, be the most productive. Now, taking something out of the freezer isn't what a lot of people are going to call productive, but that's going to be something that's going to be important, getting something done later. So in that sense, it's very productive. So take a look at what absolutely positively has to be done now, what has to be done today. Cross off those things that don't have to be done, or at least don't have to be done today, or don't have to be done this week, or at least within the next 48, 72 hours. Star them or star items or check them or something. Put some indication of something that you can give to somebody else and ask somebody else if they can do it. If there's something on that list that you either can't cross off or you can't give to somebody else, you may want to seriously look at why are you the only person who can do all of these things? Because then you're going to have to start doing some thinking about how you got into the situation of having all those things to do. And if there's something that you literally cannot give to anybody else, it's why you, and you may need to have to give some serious thought to essentially how you got stuck with all of those things in the first place. But in theory, especially if you've got a family, you should be able to give some things to somebody else, a relative, a spouse, children, or something. Or maybe they don't even belong on that list at all. And that's a serious thing to look at. What are things on your list that don't belong there, that you can literally take off because you don't need to do, or at least you don't need to do now? Okay? Yeah, you might have to go clean out the closet or something like that, but does it have to be done now? Okay? Now, take a look and go back and take a deep breath and go back. In a sense, the way I just took a deep breath. Go back and take a look at those tasks and start spending, if you need to, set a timer and do something on the task that has to be done today. Or if you can't do it now, is there another task that you can start doing something on for 10 or 15 minutes? In other words, just get started on one thing. Get yourself focused on that one thing and don't think in terms of everything else that's on the list. Because remember, you should have just gone through the list and gotten rid of a whole bunch of things, at least for this moment. They still may need to be done at some point, but you hopefully got rid of a lot of things that you don't have to do right now. Right now. That's the whole key. Okay? Because the odds are is there's probably a lot of on your list that you're thinking about having to do, and you're saying, oh, I've got to do this, I've got to do that, but it doesn't have to be done today. It doesn't have to be done now. And all of that accumulation is causing part of the problem where you're getting overwhelmed because your mind is saying you've got to get it all done now, and you don't, not really. Okay? So if you can, whatever it is that you check to start, ask somebody for help. Can you do this for me? Or can you assist me in doing this? Or some such thing like that. Okay? Now start just setting a timer, think about what you have to do, and can you do something and set it up in such a way that you can just give yourself, like maybe, let's say you've got a paper to write or a report you've got to work on or something like that. Give yourself 30 minutes to at least do something on it. If you've got, say, like a report you've got to work on that doesn't have to be done today, just give yourself an amount of time, depending on what the task is and what time you've got available, that you can work on that particular task. Set a little timer, put it on your clock, kitchen timer, you're on your phone, whatever, and just work on that. So what you're doing is, in a sense, setting some priorities about what does need to be done. What you're trying to do is get back into control and telling your head, I'm in control because I'm making choices. And the other part, couple of things, which may be the hardest thing on this whole little list to do, is somehow putting on your phone or putting up a do not disturb sign or telling people Just leave me alone for about 30 minutes, let me work or let me rest or whatever it is you're going to do, and tell people that you're overwhelmed and you need support. Now, this may be the hardest thing, but it's also quite crucial, because if you don't, you may end up sort of like collapsing, and then you're going to end up getting the kind of help that you don't want, because you basically just collapsed, or you've broken down, or you've done something like started crying in the middle of a public place or some such thing like that. In other words, when the overwhelm just gets so great and you just sort of like fall apart, you don't want to do that. So let's see if we can sort of like stop it before it gets to that point. Does that make sense? So I hope these were a little helpful. Um, None of them are really difficult, at least in theory. They may be difficult because you make them difficult, because you say, I can't do that. Everything's important. And it's like everything's probably not equally important. And if you think everything's important, then everything's equally important, then we may need to have a chat. We may talk about that later. So I hope this was helpful. I hope it got you through, or will get you through the day, tomorrow, and the week later. And just let me know which part worked, what you thought about it. If you want to hear other things like this, just let me know how it goes, okay? And I wish you the best, and I hope you do practice some of this, because it can help you. Seriously, it can, if you really just take the time to literally let yourself chill, okay? So do the best you can. Have a good day, and we will chat with you later. Bye.